Hey guys. that was the weakest hey guys I've ever given in my fucking life. That's not a good sign for this recording session. I'm scared now. I don't remember where we left off because it was a few days ago in my lifetime. We're in the court though. Is this it?
The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lara Skye.
Eamon didn't come back. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh, great. Oh, never mind. I thought you meant Meekins. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Just let him get absolutely fucking shit-faced first.
Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man, same as you, wandering the trails of civilization.
Occasionally helping the elderly cross intersections when needed. Yes, we get it.
Oh, I know. You're a patrolman.
Judge, you are so unprofessional. Shut up. Stop getting drunk! How is there so much in that flask? Like, look at him just glug it down.
As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling wind calling it out.
To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Haven't you described him that way? Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime took place. On the day the crime took place. Fuck! Is this correct?
According to the papers, partner.
Why is he allowed to have a knife? Like, he's allowed to have alcohol and a knife in a courtroom?
What do you mean? That desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sands. No paper could sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly.
Yeah.
Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. I only speak American, Your Honor.
Alright, what shit is he gonna spew? I can't wait.
My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, and that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway.
2? I guess the door and the camera, is that what you mean?
If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon the time it went down.
No one calls them that.
I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
Shoot him, Your Honor. Shoot him with your 6, sure, in the chest.
I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining.
You just did. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems?
I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader.
Come on, Phoenix, catch up.
I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those.
Yes, well, what about the fingerprint-activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fuck! Got me.
Fingerprint-activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those?
He's not being very helpful.
He's not that good with machines, or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses, now don't they, Mr. Prosecutor?
No, they don't.
This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours.
You're really just not even gonna, like, go through the fucking loops of saying I can begin my cross-examination. He's all mine? I'm gonna fucking tear him a new one?
My job is to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard.
How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room?
I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings.
You interred them?
Videos and nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape.
If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours.
Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life.
What the fuck are you talking about? This guy's a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room?
They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day. That ain't my style.
But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right?
Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
No desperado I know lets rules get in his way.
What? You are not helping your case here at all. Just pretend that you do your job. No desperados I know joined the police force.
So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day.
Between you, me, and the rest of the courtroom who were listening to you.
There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do.
You don't know about 9/11? Insensitive.
I haven't been in that crypt in weeks.
How does this guy avoid being fired?
Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway.
Did this game predict 9/11? Because it was made in 2001. Oh yeah, I should push this. Alright, press. You used to be a detective, so you used the evidence room in the past, correct? Oh, actually, this wasn't added until the port, never mind.
Of course, back in the day, my locker was a gold mine of evidence.
And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism.
Sorry, partner, I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works.
That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that, too.
At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place?
The crime, Your Honor.
If I remember right, I was at a street-side saloon at the time it went down.
What were you doing in a place like that?
I was eating spaghetti, sucking dick. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongole sepia pasta.
Do you mean to tell that complete wrong voice? The judge just sounded like Phoenix for one line. Your Honor, what was that?
Nothing. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner.
What do you mean?
It's not what I meant. I hope this at least has taught you a lesson.
That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want to raise this year?"
You know him so well. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time I hit the trail.
Out of ammo, Officer Marshall?
That's right, partner. Or as you call it, evidence. Bullet refutals. Truth bullets, even. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that.
You're not a Texan. Stop pretending. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I best keep my cool. Now, before I use it, though, I better up the ante. Edgeworth, I bet you $5 I can bust this guy. Alright, what's my fucking... what are you talking about? I need to look over my evidence. I forget what I have. I know he was in the thing on the day of the crime because his handprint is here. Marshall's fingerprints found on the buddy handprint. Blah, 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 blah. So is that the trump card? They said I was supposed to make blah blah blah. The spies blah blah blah. If I remember right, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. So do I hit the do I hit my ammo this time? Wait, what happens if I click pass? What do you say? I have a trump card up my sleeve. Okay. So I can slap you with the handprint. I can slap you with the handprint here because that's not true. Well, the handprint might not prove. Like that could have been left there at some other time. What do I have? What else do I have? Useless. Legend. This is going to be used as evidence, and I hate it. Oh, I right-clicked on accident. Oh, hold on. What else we got? I just forget all the evidence, to be honest. Oh, wait. Miles Edgeworth, Bruce Goodman, Mike Meekins. Who's witty? We never figured out who this is. It's gotta be Gant, right? It's gotta be fucking Gant. Like, a part of me wants to know who it is, but a part of me hopes that I never figure it out just so they put the number 420 in it for no fucking reason whatsoever. That would be pretty cool. Covers fingerprints, blah. I accidentally right-clicked. I'm glad it didn't present it. I'm just an innocent traveling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Why was this brought back to his office by Gant's request? That's gonna come up later. Weird. I forgot about that. Only you signed detective prints cannot not. I mean, I know you were here. Files for the Joe Dart killing solved 2 years ago. I also forget getting this. Alright, anything else that's weird here? Let me see. If I remember right, nope. Besides, the room's protected by two security systems. Nope. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but out of my style, you are fired. The job is keeping an wary eye on that bone orchard, but you don't do that, apparently. You were off getting drunk or eating spaghetti. Well, I'm just going to slap you with the handprint and see what happens. I'm going to save here, though, in case I just absolutely get slaughtered.
Arise from the ashes.
Bum, 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 boom. Object! Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime.
Yet you tracked me down here. Explain yourself, partner.
It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint.
Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there.
You just objected on top of your rejection? I only wish it were, officer. But, you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Oh my god, his back fucking spread.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your bloodstained fingerprints were at the crime scene.
The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall?
Seems to me that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. There ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders.
Not even you? I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall.
About the bloodstained fingerprints? Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime.
Yeah, what bullcrap are you gonna spill? Actually, I lent my hand to the murderer on that day, but I can't remember who the murderer was.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room.
Don't talk while drinking alcohol.
One of them just happened to be the same place as the bloodstained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Well, didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it.
You are full of dookie?
The witness's explanation appears valid.
No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? How are you a judge?
Although there's room for doubt.
Yes.
Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner.
You're just nodding at that?
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Go up there, take that knife off him, and stab him. The cheek of this guy to just shave and drink alcohol in the middle of the courtroom.
Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room.
That's because you, how you put it, paid your respects once a month?
Yeah, that's right. Ah, and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine.
Is that true? I think that is true, actually.
What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams.
I see.
It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker.
Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without even knowing it.
Marshall's fingerprints updated in the call record.
Okay. Well, I mean, we know he opened that locker and closed it. Because there was something hanging out of it.
Well, them just happened to be the same place as the bloodstained handprint.
Oh, go back. Hold it! So then, what about the bloody handprint? What about it?
Was mine. It's no mystery. Please explain. My locker's covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened.
Oh, okay.
The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance.
The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1.
On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward from me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated.
Do you have to screen that every time, Phoenix? Unrelated.
They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal.
You just said the same word twice.
No, I mean cereal with an S.
Twice or once?
No, once, but fuck you. One's got to do with breakfast while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different.
Shut up, Your Honor. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this.
Or did you know the murderer was wearing gloves?
How do you know that? How do you know that? Thank you, Phoenix.
I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports.
There was a bloodstain at the scene, though thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. Flashback. It was to be found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too.
So that would mean that the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
You know what? Actually, I think that's Meekin's handprint. Because that was behind, it was behind this thing on the video. Can I look at the video actually? I can, but I don't want to. I'll look at it now just to see. Because he does pass by behind it, and I think this is before his hand got broken. So maybe he was wearing a glove. Yeah, this locker is behind this, so he could very well have touched this himself. Can you speed this up? Let me speed it up. Cannot speed this up. Well, I'm not waiting through that.
Are you starting to get the picture, partner?
The picture?
This seal of blood in the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this.
This is where you're going to dig your own hole. Dig your own grave, I mean, not your own hole. Just ignore that. The security tape.
So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise.
I mean, it is, though.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. Too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner?
That's where you die. What do you mean by that? What do you think he means by that, Phoenix?
You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner?
Not even to say no?
If so, that video's the only direct evidence you have.
But that video's next to useless! It's full of blind spots!
Blind spots?
Places you can't see! That's not true. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. I mean, it is true, but it doesn't matter. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. Shut up, Edgeworth. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright.
Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now.
Okay. One single nod. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Yep.
Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall.
And here comes the music. Ooh, fast forward. Oh yeah, hold it. It's fucking eerie, dude. Not wearing gloves by the looks of it. Okay, he didn't go behind it by the looks of it. Hold on. I'll look again. Is your hand busted? Your hand is not... Wait, is it your left hand or your right hand? I can't see it. But you don't go behind this. Oh, your hands are okay in this. And you get stabbed in the chest. You're now dead. And... freeze! Bringing our attention back to the security camera. Is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall.
The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers.
Like you would know.
Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less?
Very well. That's 2. You can clearly be seen in this video! I mean... Okay. Like, this is 8 words or less, but you said very well, so that adds up to 9.
Exactly 8 words.
Wait, did I miscount? Never mind.
Not bad, partner.
The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. Oh god, it's so slow! Freeze frame, microscope.
That locker with the white cloth sticking out? That was the witnesses, I believe.
Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. Would you have to go this slow? Why? No one's sitting here just on the edge of their seat, fucking waiting for it to rewind. And now.
Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. That was my Ku Klux Klan outfit. What was that doing there? What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall?
When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime! What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. He's still drinking here.
Order! Order! It would seem that only... Hold your horses! Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it.
Looked like a JoJo character there.
The murderer needed to hide something, so he opened a locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man?
I'm in darkness. This guy isn't just plain dumb. He really doesn't know. What? I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person who can open that particular locker.
Oh yeah? I call your bluff.
You know who else can open that fucking locker? The victim. Because it's his locker.
You say I opened that locker. Now prove it.
I can't. Can I? There's the... Like, what the... These are two pieces of evidence right here. Why do I have to give you another one? Okay. Only the assigned detective prints can unlock it. Okay. I mean, I assume it's this one then. Take that!
Fingerprint sensor?
We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by the detectives they belong to.
What kind of crazy talk is this?
Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this.
In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people on the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks.
So, Sheriff, why are you calling him that? What do you have to say? In 8 words or less! What are you eating? Beef jerky? He didn't even take a bite out of it! That was a fucking letdown.
I only got one word for you, partner! No!
What is going on?
I've unlocked my true power! Order! Witness, explain yourself! If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard.
I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Please eat it. Fuck you! Just take the bite.
Ole, please answer the question.
What? What is he now? A bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here.
We can?
Shut up, Your Honor. Have a look at these floor plans. There's no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Behind the camera? Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall.
If that's so, then where was the witness?
It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion.
Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime?
Which one's V and which victim killer? But this is where Meekins was standing. No, this is not. This is where he was standing, and this is where Meekins was standing. Officer Marshall was standing right here!
There? But that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was.
Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in this video is Officer Marshall! It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman! But that's preposterous! Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene! Once he saw the man's face, he'd know for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman. He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir! Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me! Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it?
Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it.
The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his ID card.
Oh, I get it.
If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. Do you have anything to say to this, Officer Marshall? Just take the bite.
You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it.
You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, but you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim?
Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. We have enough! What are you talking about?
I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat.
Ah! This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? Save me, Edgeworth. It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone told me when I was just starting out. When you've run to a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place?
What do you mean?
There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been. Which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker.
According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason.
He must have put, like, the coat in there or something. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. What? Yeah, no shit. 1 + 1 is 2 as well, do you know that?
So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth?
Perhaps the video is the key to all our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so the video is my only shot.
Very well. Let's take yet another look at the security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness has to open this locker.
Please show us why the witness had to open the locker. I'm just gonna fast forward through this nightmare. So something you got like blood in his clothes or something, maybe. Hold on, look. Right, what you got? You don't have the scarf thing, do you? Are these gloves? These could be gloves. So maybe you shoved the gloves in there, but they don't look like gloves. My first thought was that it was his coat. But I don't know. There was also a coat found in scene of crime, but I doubt it was the same one. Go frame by frame, frame by frame, frame by frame, frame by frame, frame by frame. Oh, you cheeky bastard. Of course. Like, the fact that he perfectly went behind this thing. There's no way he planned that. He's just a lucky fucker. Alright. There's gotta be, like, blood on him. Or maybe it's something off of, Meekins? Oh, yeah, blood. There's blood on it. Okay, okay, okay. Rewind. Here we go. That's it, right? It's gotta be. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room. Oh, I don't know what to end. To what end, yet.
Yet?
However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood.
A bloody white coat?
You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker.
Not bad, partner.
Really gotta put that in quotation marks? The fucking disrespect. Am I not your partner?
Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have had to be here now would we?
Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it.
All right. It seems the time has come.
Marshall's confession.
I'm gay, Your Honor. I had to do it that day. I had to do it to him. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. I managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you.
But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of cum were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cum his own hand. My guess is he's the donor.
It was way too much cum for such a small cum. Marshall's confession. Alright, I'll pick through this. Here we go.
I had to do it to him.
Press. No! I missed. I'm just gonna start pressing Q. I mean, I don't want to take my hand off the mouse though. When you say it, you mean...
Do you even have to ask, partner?
The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over.
But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room?
When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence.
Why?
I wanted to have a look at that myself one more time, no matter what the cost.
So, they really fired you as detective and left your fingerprints on the thing?
I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine.
But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
That day was my last chance. That's why I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman?
If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you hid it to fool the security camera.
Have the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident.
So that really was why Goodman started filling out that lost item report.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. No shit. So, essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker by yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out.
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off?
Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is one an admitted type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID.
I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. God, Edgeworth. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. He's a prosecutor.
Anyway, he threw himself at me. I ended up cumming him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. Me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife?
Oh, you mean this one?
I don't know what to say.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on camera.
So you did your research beforehand?
Those who got into the desert don't go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. Security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there.
What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
He was bleeding out on the floor.
So what you're saying is, on that day, there wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
But the cum found at the scene certainly indicates a cum took place.
What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So, you stole the evidence from the locker?
Actually, no, I didn't.
What the fuck are you talking about? Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
What?
Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence?
It's still missing, Your Honor. I have some of it. So, I don't know about that one. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing?
Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer.
No, I don't know about that one. You're literally in a court of law right now. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense! Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in the salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution.
Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. Are you amused, Your Honor? Are you having fun?
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
Do you have to say hold it to ask why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Mama was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Mama case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? And not the kind of cereal you eat. Oh, reference. I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. And what happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I'd better take another look at the files. Booped, 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 dooped. Alright, I wasn't expecting blah blah, blah blah, blah blah. Okay, present. You know why? Yeah, I probably do. It's the one that says SL9 was bullshit. SL9 was a lie. Not you, not you, not you, not you, not you, not you. This one? Files for the Hold on. Perpetrator, Joel Mama. Crime, serial murder, sentence death. Oh! Oh shit! Oh shit! Okay, I know why now. Yo! Alright, well, that changes things. Head investigator, Bruce Goodman. Investigators, Jake Marshall, Angel Star. Yeah, no, this guy. Sorry, partner. Alright, page 2. This is not an objection. This is you confirming what he's saying. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident.
Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner.
I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. I love how he pointed at him for one single frame. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall? You were the head prosecutor on this case. How do you not know his name?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, you received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
What? A prosecutor? Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Still a stupid name. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Hold on, can I look at this? Does it say his name on it? King of Prosecutors. The names each of past recipients are etched on the plate. Manfred von Karma's name appears here too. How ironic. Okay, I can't look for his name. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed, and the case fell into your hands.
You know what? Hold on. I want to look at this one more time, just one more time, and then I know who the killer is. 100%. I right-clicked on accident. I'm sorry. I have my mic right above my mouse pad, so if I move it up too far, I accidentally hit it. Okay, okay, no. I thought these all might be all like my males, and then we could depend it on Lunch Lady, who's like, oh, I had so many men that I used and abused over the years. Oh, I'm so evil. But no, there's a few women there too, so I don't know.
Case fell into your hands, but what's his relation to you? He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then Deputy Chief of Police.
Is Gant the murderer?
The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer.
I was wondering who this was. Hello?
Joe Mama. My brother fought Mama and was killed. That was the first time Mama left behind any evidence. It was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. Oh, what do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Mama. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? God, Edgeworth, have some fucking empathy.
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. And now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened.
Not satisfied with its...
Oh shit. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. He looks so handsome in that one. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Why are you surprised by this? I feel like I've said that very string of words like fucking 7 times in this game. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that.
So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot is the real one.
Which, in turn, means only one person could have committed the crime. Wrong, Edgeworth, wrong! Ding, 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 ding! You're incorrect! Ding, 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 ding! Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. Full of shit! We know that she's innocent. Fucking Lunch Lady lied about it so many times. How are you even considering the fact that she could be guilty? But wait! A verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. Oh, fuck off. What are you talking about? But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
It seems to me that all you see, this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries of the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. Wrong again, Edgeworth! And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. That is the most incorrect thing you have ever said. What the fuck are you talking about? She lied like 8 times during that testimony. What do you mean it's fucking incontestable? If you have a fucking response, make it a single word or less. Objection? Well, you don't have to follow. Ah! Does that count as a word? I think that was just a noise. I rest my case. You should just use that. Phoenix, you should just bring up some evidence and go, Edgeworth, if you have a rebuttal, make it 0 words or less. And then he's like, no, I can't say anything. And then you just win. It seems that, fuck, I keep giving the wrong voice for the judge. Sorry. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Yes, there is! Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I don't need to waste my time. This is the part where Ema comes in and saves me. Disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. Court finds the defendant. You are so dumb! What the fuck is wrong with you? You better not say, yeah, thank you, Ema. Fucking hell. Thank you! It's about time. Now, can someone shoot her down for busting onto the fucking witnesses stand? At least she waited, or at least she went before the fucking guilty verdict, unlike Larry Butts. Your Honor, wait! Ema, what the fuck? The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, Wright? That's your name. Oh.
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
I guess. Your Honor? Oh, in a sense. Please, Your Honor. All I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
Why are you so generous to her? You only gave me 1 word.
I'm drinking some water angrily.
God damn, that's some good welter. I'm dying. I'm in such shock from Ema surprisingly appearing. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Choke Mama killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. And that left only one thing. The other handprint.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. How were you let in? Did you steal the card from me? So did you find something? No! Huh? Sorry. Guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. You're so useless! Get out of my courtroom! Is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. He barely qualifies as a professional. He's been in like 4 trials. Me? Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. I mean, yeah, that could have been there before the recording. It could have been left by, I'm assuming Gant, who went in earlier. Here's the thing, right? Gant is, oh wait, never mind. Hold on. Where is it? Where's the records? Where's the freaking records? Edgeworth? We still don't know why Edgeworth was in there, do we? I forget. I forget if it was explained or not. But I'm going to assume that this is Gant, okay? Because he's the most sus person. So maybe since Gant is the chief of police, he has access to all the lockers? I don't know. Maybe. Or maybe he fucking sliced Bruce's hand off and then sewed it back on at a later date, and that's what left the blood. Maybe Gant just snuck in at 420 to smoke some weed. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. He just stole some weed from the evidence locker and got blazed. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. Shut up, you're distracting me. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. What could be wrong with the handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? I object, yeah. Say that there's thing was in front of it. I can't remember its name. The blue thing. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction. The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright.
You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Nope. Yes, this is strange. No! Oh god, just show them this thing. Show them Blue Badger panel. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing. Missing? Do you mean something hasn't been drawn on there? Okay, fine. This probably works. Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
The question is, which item could prove something is missing in the floor plans?
Okay, nice. Take that! What, you're back? You just burst on to drink some fucking whiskey?
What about that pre-supply word?
The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Pretty cool, right? Defender of truth, guardian of proof. Now you're buying time. Now you're just talking shit. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here.
So?
So much what happens when we put him in. Oh! This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well?
Well, what?
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger's dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? I couldn't click past that fast enough. It wouldn't let me.
So that means... just exactly what does this mean?
It means it can't be done!
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there. Mr. Wright, think through it scientifically. You're really back here now? How are you not just arrested? Hema! Like, if you could just walk onto the fucking witness stand, I'm gonna do that in the future and just talk shit. And no one can do anything. Like, she literally provided nothing. On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
Far-fetched balderdash. Good one. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice! But how? One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. A trivial amount? There was a massive fucking pool on the ground. What are you talking about? Hold on a second. Does it show on this? Trivial amount? Look at this! Trivial amount? He almost died. What do you mean trivial amount? It was a trivial amount of blood. People spill that much blood fucking when they bust a nut. Officer Meekins cut his hand for blah blah blah. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been. It had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Damn right, Phoenix. That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim. The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened. God, that is a word you do not hear often. Oh my god, I can't speak. When did it take place? After 4. I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred. Okay, actually, it was 4:20. When did the first incident occur? 4:20, baby.
To summarize, the defense claims that
Prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this. Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented. Proof that shows when the incident occurred. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present this evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? This one. If the crime took place inside that evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required. An ID card? Oh! The ID card record! Officer Meekins brought the blue badger panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Ah! No, not 4:40 p.m., you gobshite. It wasn't Edgeworth. Ah! Miles Edgeworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy. Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me. Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood. And that means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Why? What do you mean, unfortunately? Unfortunately for me, I can't murder people that quickly. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth had entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again. There's only one other card number remaining. 77777777! Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777777! Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. What are you making into it? Find out whose ID number is 77777777. That's 17 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. Just ask Gandon, you're done. At least, at present. What?
Explain yourself, son.
ID number 77777777 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. I wonder who? Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Just get Gant to do it. He'll be happy to oblige. But that's ridiculous! Just how? I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. Fuck you then! There is one situation in which we can be granted such an authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge?
You're all alike,
Aren't you?
with your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay, let me ask a question.
Yes?
No, not to you. To her, the defendant sitting over there.
She's been sitting over there this whole time?
Your own little executive.
Lana? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 777777.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? I'll turn into her! What?
Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana! Even if it involved forging evidence. What's going on? Are we being abducted by aliens?
I'm back, bitches. See? That's what I'm talking about.
No.
No!
Oh my god, that's the loudest they've ever been. Oh no! 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 Lana's remarks caused such a stir. The chaos in the courtroom, something would have to wait until the following day. Well, to be continued. It's gotta be Gant, there's no one else. It's gotta be fucking Gant, lock him up, he's too evil. He's so obviously bad.